Hey everyone, this is Iron Torch 20 and we are continuing Mega Man X4, and this time we're going to be playing Zero's story. And Zero's story is going to be a little different than X's. They both warrant two separate playthroughs, but this one's going to be a little bit different, and I'll explain more as we go on.
Who are you?
My masterpiece.
But who are you?
After him, he is my nemesis. Our rivalry is what gives me motivation in life. Now go. Destroy him. That's an order.
But wait!
Emergency, all Maverick Hunters on call should assemble immediately.
The same dream again.
All Maverick Hunters on call should assemble immediately.
But here we are treated to pretty much the same intro as X got. I mean, you have the whole Sky Lagoon, except this time X is nowhere to be found, which I found kind of odd. But see, the thing with these stages is that the stages are going to be pretty much the same, except that X and Zero are going to have different ways they go about getting through the stages. And in Zero's case, he is going to be the short-range fighter, where you have to use his beam saber in order to hack and slash things, which is actually a lot more fun in my opinion. I mean, with X I found it to be a lot easier, but I just didn't really find the combat to be as, I don't know, I guess fun compared to Zero. And see, the boss is pretty much the same, and one thing I didn't do with X was that you can actually break that door and then the mini-boss will leave. And see, with Zero, the most important thing you have to know is that he has a 3-slash combo. And see, there are special moves you can get as the game goes on, and I will explain that more as or once we get to the bosses. But I mean, here we're just going to that whole dialogue with Magma Dragoon, and we already know he made the Sky Lagoon fall, but let's just play along with it. And yeah, for those of you wondering, I did use the code to get Black Zero, and basically the reason I did that was because the thing with Zero is that even though he is, in my opinion, more fun to play as, the biggest thing about him is that his damage output is a lot worse than X's, and unfortunately there is no way to improve your defense throughout this game when you're playing as Zero. I mean, they fix that in later games, but in this one it is really easy to get yourself killed just from taking too much damage. So I decided to play as Black Zero for the sake of improving my defense. So that's it, we're just facing off against the boss again. And see, the boss really isn't all that tough. I actually did find him to be easier this time with Zero, surprisingly. And I think that's just because he just didn't attack me as much. Yeah, so all I'm doing is just jumping up to him and then slashing him. And then look at how much health I took off just from those few slashes. And that's one thing that just makes this thing a little bit easier. Now let's just go ahead and finish him off. So yeah, that's the end of the intro stage boss. He's just as easy as with X, but you know, you get the idea. Let's see, earlier we met Iris, who they actually explained her backstory a bit more in Extreme 2. And then this is her brother, the Colonel, who is, I guess, the second in command for the Repla Force. And for some reason, like, Zero knows these guys a lot more than X does. I don't really know what their connection is, but I mean, that's just something they never really explained throughout the game, but I don't know, it just made the storyline a little bit more intriguing, considering that, you know, Zero and Colonel are friends, and yeah, it's just kind of you know where this is going. So, yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, the story is a little bit more interesting as Zero, so that's why Zero does warrant having a second playthrough. And it does increase replay value, which is one thing I did like about this game compared to, well, I guess with X2 and X3 they did have replay value. But I mean, with that, we'll just skip to the stage intros. After that cutscene with the General and Colonel and all those fun people, let's see, Zero has to meet Iris here, and the backstory between them is kind of explained in Extreme 2, which actually happened after this game, was that Iris worked for Repla Force at one point, and she ended up joining the Maverick Hunters for a few missions, and that's when she and Zero fell for each other. So that's all fine and good. So naturally you get this story. So after going through those same boss intros, I'm going to be taking a different route here, and I'm going to be going after Cyber Peacock first. And the reason I'm going after Cyber Peacock first is because as Zero, it is really important to get as many power-ups as fast as you can, because he doesn't have any Dr. Light capsules, so he has no way of getting anything to improve his like defense or his attack. Or I mean, you can improve your attack with different things, but let's see, just the main thing is his defense, because I had a lot of trouble during this playthrough of not getting killed by things. I mean, it's not like I wasn't getting killed all the time, it was because I actually died a lot less in this one than I did as X, but the thing I was having the most problems with was just barely hanging on for some of these boss fights. And you will see as this series goes on. And yeah, I'm just doing the highlights of these because, you know, I don't really want to bore you with having to see the same thing over again. And I mean, it's not like these stages are really all that long, it's just that, you know, it's just something to talk over. Let's see, here we picked up the sub-tank, and from the first section, instead of getting the Dr. Light capsule, you just got an extra life. I mean, in this game, extra lives matter some, but I mean in X5 and X6 they don't really matter all that much. Well, I mean, I guess for X5 they do for rank. But anyway, with all that said, here we are at the boss. And see, with Zero, the biggest challenge in this game is going to be the bosses themselves. And let's just go ahead and show off this boss fight with Cyber Peacock. His weakness is actually going to be Magma Dragoon's ability, which is the U engine, which makes an appearance in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Let's see, Cyber Peacock has the same pattern, and what I'm trying to do in this early part is get him to jump up so I can slash him. And yeah, I am hanging on the walls here just because I don't really feel like getting hit, except when he decides to be a prick and spawn on top of me. Yeah, I just really don't feel like getting hit all that much, and this is exactly what I meant by having trouble with these bosses, is because I only got hit twice and I'm already down to half health. So that's one of the other reasons that I've said before, and I'm going to say this a lot. That is the reason I picked Black Zero here. And you can do a code just like you can do a code to do to get Ultimate Armor X, and I'll show those off at the end of the playthrough. But here I'm using generally the same pattern to avoid these missiles. Let's see, can I finish them off here? Yep, I do. So yeah, with Zero's playthrough, instead of weapons, you end up getting special abilities, and in Cyber Peacock's case, they're going to end up getting the Giga Attack, which really isn't all that useful, quite frankly. And yeah, they all have like a Japanese name, so they're kind of hard to pronounce. Let's see, yeah, this is just R2, or depending on whatever you set the Giga Attack button to. And yeah, you do get 4 of them to work with, but like I said before, I'll show them off whenever I get an opportunity to. And with that said, let's go into Web Spider stage next. Yeah, I'm going to be doing things with Zero a little bit differently, because some of the abilities you get aren't going to be that useful against bosses, and it just depends on which ability they are. But let's see, with Web Spider's case, he is going to be useful against Split Mushroom. So I do want to beat Split Mushroom as soon as I can, and the reason for that is because he has, in my opinion, the best ability in the game. Let's see, I did, in some practice runs, actually try and beat Split Mushroom first, but I couldn't. And I'm just showing off that there is no Dr. Light Capsule there. And might as well show off the Giga Attack while I'm here. And yeah, that's pretty much all that happens. It's really easy to miss stuff. So yeah, let's just finish this stage off. And yeah, since there some points don't really have anything interesting going on, so I'm just skipping past them. Even though I'm really off with my timing. Let's see, we're just gonna jump over these things. That's really the easy way to do that. And let's see, there is an attack that lets you attack upwards, but we don't really have that yet. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people do enjoy playing as Zero, is that he controls a lot more like a character from a fighting game instead of a Mega Man game. I mean, it's not like Mega Man the Power Fighters or anything, but I mean, you have your special moves, you have your moveset, and then you have like your way of going through stages. And it's actually a pretty nice blend when you think about it. Let's see, let's just get to the end here. And here we're fighting Web Spider. Now this was another one I had a ton of trouble with. I mean, that weapon actually makes an appearance later on in the series. That's something I did forget to mention during X's story. Now for some reason, like, Zero knows most of these guys. I don't really know why, but, you know, he just does. Or they know about him in some way, shape, or form. Let's see, here Web Spider has pretty much the same pattern. Really all you're doing is just avoiding the web and slashing in this early part. Or except when you screw up like that. And once again, look at the damage output. So let's just go ahead and deal with them this way. And you do have to be a little bit more patient with these boss fights as Zero, because he can't do as much damage as X early on, and he does take a lot more damage, so unless you like using your sub-tanks, you want to pick those up as quickly as you can and fill them up as quickly as you can. Let's see, we should be halfway done soon. That's like maybe just one more. I don't really know anymore. Let's see, with that he's going to go into his second phase. And with the holidays all done, I'm just going to get back to more recording. Probably between now and New Year's. I mean, I should have Magical Quest done by then. But we'll have to see. And yes, that's what happens when you run into him. And unfortunately, I had a lot of trouble like gauging where I should be. And that Giga Attack is stupid, don't use it. And yeah, I had a lot of trouble like gauging where I was supposed to be in order to like hit him without getting hit. And of course with my health the way it was, if I got hit one more time I would have died. And see, just one more. Yeah, just whenever he finishes getting down here. Now with all that said, that is the end of Web Spider. His special ability can be somewhat useful depending on the situation. But I mean, I'll talk about that more once we get to part 2. Let's see, that's Rajinke, which is a straightforward attack. Well, with all that said, I will see you in part 2.